Hi folks, Travis Fox here with FoxOptic.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Pulsar Axion thermal monocular. This device is going to come in three models currently. We have the XM30, the XM38, and currently out we have the XM30 Key. The Key model does not have the video or image capture ability. Also will not work with the stream vision. Essentially it's key because it will perform the key tasks. It's going to be a really good addition to any night vision hunting game. As with all the models, it's just going to be a little less feature rich. Essentially the XMs are going to be a smaller, more compact version of what we've had out before, which was the Helion. They're, in my opinion, obviously much smaller. That's what I'm showing here, like for comparison. Have Nikon, this is a Nikon Rifle Hunter 1000 rangefinder, so you can see the size difference versus the Helion. I mean, obviously they've made the device much more compact. We went from being basically a mid-size monocular to where now the thing will easily fit in a shirt pocket. So it doesn't matter whether you're using it to step up your night vision hunting game, or if you have a contractor-based business where you're occasionally using the thing for some other application besides just the hunting purpose. If you're using it to find down game in your traditional hunting, a horde of uses for these things. Whether you just be a camping guy or somebody out looking for your dog of an evening, again, down game is a really good one that comes to mind. In just a general hunting application. The prices, the size, and the convenience of these things are finally starting to get to the point where, in my opinion, form is meat and function pretty heavily. With these little key units coming in at about $1,700 with a 1,000-yard detect range, we're starting to see a unit that, again, would go with any digital night vision, whether it be thermal or a different type, tube intensified, near IR based. Going to really help you detect things out there and step that up. But not just for those applications. For the guy that likes to go out hunting on a weekend or something, that wants to make sure what's in around his camp, or again, like I said, if you're in an urban setting, the dog runs off and you want to be able to find out where he's ran off to. Electrician, that's occasionally, not going to full-time do it where we'd have a commercial model, but going to occasionally check a breaker panel for a hot leg in there where you've got some looseness or a contact issue. Horde of uses that you can use these things for. So we're going to key just in on what the features of these models are. I'm going to get in the stream vision application and show you how the thing works, which would obviously only apply to the XM models, not the Key. But as far as inside the unit on the displays, very similar functions. So with that said, we're going to start off with the displays. The Key models obviously have a little lower grade display in them. They're running an LCOS display, and whereas you're running an AMOLED in your XM models. So one of the things that becomes a little bit confusing in them is going to be the fact that the LCOS in here, even though these two models have the same degree field of view, the LCOS screen they're going to claim is a 2.5 native magnification, whereas you're at a 4x in the XM30. So XM30 Key 2.5, XM30 4x magnification, but there's no difference in field of view. The magnification naming is simply a product of the screen being a little bit smaller on the LCOS, which also, by the way, has a little bit higher temperature rating, so it's not going to work in cold weather quite as good as the AMOLED screen on the XM. So personally, you get a lot of money, getting a lot for your money in the XM series versus the Key series, in my opinion. But I also realize for the guy that's only going to use it to step up his night vision game, that's not to say you may not want to save a couple, $200 or $300 and go with the Key model. So let's take a look over here on the side. I've got the battery set up. Very quickly I can show you here, on the front of the unit is a battery eject. They've made this very simple. The battery is a self-contained unit. It just slides inside of there. There's really just a little click to it and it's locked into position. Unit fully waterproof, 3-year warranty. The XM series come with a really nice little dual bank charger here. The kit that I'm going to be putting together is going to include the charger on the XMs that comes in the unit and an additional battery. Eventually we'll be doing the same thing on the keys. At this point in time, the charger isn't available. The units are new. The batteries are, but the charger isn't. So we'll probably be adding some kits in later on that will encompass that. So let's go over to the application. We'll just do a real quick run through on what your application settings are going to be. So a short tap on the center menu button is going to bring up your quick menu. Inside the quick menu, short taps are going to allow you to toggle between contrast, smooth zooming. There's a stadiometric rangefinder in there which will allow you to bracket items and get a rough approximation of distance to those items by using the up-down arrow keys to widen or lessen the bracket setups. Below that, again, you're going to find the screen brightness, contrast, which is going to allow you to set a deviation between your grayscaling. So that's the quick menu. I'll get into this later on in a full explanation of what the menu does. As you can see there via the app, I'm inside my showroom, so like there's a light out across the way, just to give you an idea of what you'll be able to see through the device. I'm going to nuke it there, so that's pretty good resolutional clarity. So then a long press on the device menu button is going to bring up the long menu, in which we're going to find the settings. So in settings, you're going to see your language, date, time, your units. This function here is going to allow you to perform a factory restore if you'd ever get the thing in a situation where you needed to do that. And then obviously the last option is going to be to format the drive on the inside that is holding your videos. So a long press will bring you back out to the next menu function. So the next menu function we got there is your Wi-Fi settings. That's going to let you set your password, some of the different simple settings inside of there. The next one down is going to be your defective pixel repair. So in that setting, if you would happen to get a defective pixel, you have the ability to repair it. And then we got just a quick device info. It's going to tell your firmware version, general settings about the device. So long press would take you back out of that menu. Another up down arrow will take you into the next portion of the menu. So the first function in there is going to be this one here, allow you to pick just some real quick brightness contrast settings that they've got in there, basically auto settings. Typically I like to set those on my own, so I don't find myself using these a lot, but if you just want like a general quick setting, with a straight up contrast brightness where they think it should be in a, in a mountainous or a forest background or ID setting, you can come in and pick one of these. Below that, you're going to find the color palettes, 8 color palettes inside the device. So as we scroll through the color palettes, you can see that there's a pretty broad array. For the most part, I think the average guy is going to find himself liking the clarity of black hot, white hot. Below that, we have our calibration settings, or NUC, non-uniformity correction settings. So in there, you're going to find that you have a manual, semi-automatic, and automatic. That's pretty typical on these. And the semi-automatic, you control when the device shutters. In automatic, the device will just shutter itself. And then in manual, the electronic shutter doesn't work. You're going to have to do it yourself. So that's how that's going to apply. Down here, we're going to have the PIP on and off. So if we turn that PIP, that's a function on the Pulsars which allows you to have an explosion in the middle at higher magnification, so to speak, that lets you kind of nail down in detail while maintaining your wider field of view at distance. I don't know if you can get kind of like there where I'm holding the middle of the screen on that light, you can see that I'm getting a bigger detail in the upper at 2 times the base magnification. I can tap and I can bring that to a much higher magnification if I want it to 22x, and then so it lets me toggle between those settings. Another long press on that again to bring me back into that menu button is going to get me into this. This is essentially just allowing me to change the brightness level. Excuse me. I'll get back down onto that. It's going to allow me to change the brightness settings of my display widgets, so to speak, inside the thing. So I'm just, the numbers make it a little easier to read inside the device. So that's just a quick run through of what the menu contains on the device. Again, some of the key attributes are going to be focus in the front of the unit. This is focus to target, so you're going to focus to clean your image. Back here you're going to find a diopter control. So essentially what you would do when first setting it up, you'd look through the device, set the diopter, which is going to clean your eye to the screen inside there. So if you need a little extra magnification to clean that up, you're going to control that diopter to find clarity on the screen, and then your images out in the field you're going to clear by adjusting the front focus. The menu layout, very simple. You have the power button, which will allow you to put it into sleep mode. The power button will also allow you to perform your nuke functions. Again, this button here is going to be your menu button for most practical instances, and then up, down for select, but to toggle between menu options, and then short taps to select. I'm not going to get in this video real deep into detail on that. We'll do that later on in another video. The main thing I want to key on is just the ruggedness of the device, the versatility of the device, and how much a thermal scanner brings detects out. A lot of instances where you're just, because of the black-white grayscaling in a lot of the night vision forms, you're just not going to be able to find stuff as easily as you could with the thermal, having such long detects. The obvious drawback in some instances on thermal is IDs can be a little rough, so if you're running a near IR, in my opinion, best way to step up any night vision game. I don't care what you're running. If you want to make it better, add a monocular. Add a monocular, add a set of binoculars, add something that unencumbers you from having to be down behind that thing, that frees up your fluid motion and brings big detects. If it's legal in the state you're in, it's probably the single biggest way to step your game up. Regardless of what your secondary job is, or just other things that a thermal can perform that you might find as a benefit cohesively with the other things you do, whether you be a contractor that does roofing, electrical work, insulation, high vac, any of those things, some kind of a mechanic, where you can use the aspect of the thermal in the course of what you do to help interpret certain things. If you camp, if you're looking for a dog or a lost pet of an evening, there are just a horde of things you can do with these devices. When you unencumber it from being strictly a weapons device, then you start to see some of the beauty of the ability of the device to do other things. So that's one of the big things that I see in the compactness and the ease of taking these new Axions with you, is just the versatility that they bring for their cost. Again, this has been the Pulsar Axion. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call toll-free, 877-806-2977, or check us out on the web, www.foxoptic.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.